All right, I'm rolling.
All right.
I have an important announcement to make, Nick.
Okay. Listen.
I'm quitting Twitter.
Oh. Man, I see. I've been thinking about this too.
Let me clarify. Don't unfollow me. Don't unfollow Locked On Hornet. I'm not quitting Twitter completely. I am quitting as a mass consumer of Twitter.
Yeah.
David. That must be David.
Yeah, that's David.
What up, dudes?
David, I'm quitting Twitter. But I'm
good morning.
But I'm quitting as a mass consumer of Twitter. Because I feel like I have this theory that you can't be a producer and a consumer. Like if you want to make great movies, you can't watch movies all the time. Like we make sports audio content, radio, podcast, whatever you want to call it. So I don't listen to a lot of sports podcasts because I don't feel like you can be a producer and a consumer. I feel like I'm consuming too much Twitter. Do you guys ever feel like that? Like you're consuming too... Like, let me ask you guys, David and Nick, and also anyone listening, like, think about the next time you spend 20 minutes scrolling through Twitter. After you get done, I want you to take a second and think to yourself, what did I just learn? And write down, if you can write down 3 things that you remembered from those 20 minutes, that you learned, that you took into your heart and your soul and your mind, then you're probably fine. But I couldn't do that. I didn't remember anything. I didn't recall anything. It was just 20 minutes. My brain was just eating useless information and not retaining it.
It's
you control your feed though, Doug. You control your Twitter account. So maybe you need to search out some new followees. Maybe you need to engage a little more. Maybe you need to...
I think I need to engage. That's what I'm saying. There was too much going on in my mind. I needed freedom of thought. Like I couldn't even have a thought. There were just too many voices. It was too much. Anyway,
it can be a month. It's good to step back.
I just needed to talk about. I just needed to talk about. I needed to voice it. I needed to put it out in the universe.
I'm with you. Twitter is toxic.
Nick is with me. I've got Nick. Nick is on board.
Too many people have become too preoccupied with their own brand and how that gets them, likes and retweets, and it's like, yeah, but at what cost? I don't know.
All right, let's start the show.
You are Locked On Hornets, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
In a minute, cuz we live.
The thing is, I stopped Facebook a long time ago. Like, I didn't quit Facebook. I still have a page, but I just stopped consuming it. I think we just have to rein back the consumption. It's too much going on in the brain. Anyway, this is Locked On Hornets, your daily podcast on the Charlotte Hornets and the NBA. We are part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Don't stop consuming us. You can never get enough Locked On Hornets. Search your podcast app for Locked On to get podcasts on the NBA, the NFL, and fantasy sports. We are coming to you live from the Gittimer.com studios in beautiful Uptown Charlotte on this Draft Wednesday, sponsored by our friends at Draft.com. Use our promo code LOHornets when you sign up to get a free game of Draft.com. It's daily fantasy sports, but better. So head over to Draft.com, and I lost the Draft.com challenge that we had here on the show a couple of weeks ago. So Nick, I have the Pocky one chip challenge that I will do on Fun Friday. I've taken the day off of my day job. They said, why are you taking the day off? I said, Fun Friday, and I said 1 chip challenge, and they were like, we completely get it. We get it. And may God have mercy on your butt.
Yeah, I misplaced my address. I don't know where.
Nope.
Yeah.
That's not how it works. I need the people on the chat on Twitter. Let's get on what are you, at Nick Denning, at Nick_Denning? What are you?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay,
yeah.
I think you're at Nick Denning. Hit him up on Twitter. Let him know he's got to do the Pocky Chip Challenge as well. You have to see me do it, and then then you're gonna have to do it. All right?
Yeah.
All right, so make sure you're tuning in. Fun Friday. Welcome to everyone on the chat. We've got Quote. We've got David. What up, Nest? Lamont saying, I learned North Korea is bad this morning on Twitter. Yeah, I think you could learn that. I don't think you need Twitter to know that. Let's see. David saying, hey, any chance there will be a hot take machine available for sale soon? I could use one of those at work. Well, listen, give us your hot takes on the live chat on Twitter, and we'll run them through the machine. Yeah, or we'll come up with a cold take, and then we'll run it through the machine and use your hot take. So send us that on the live chat. I've got my panel here. We've already introduced Nick from the capital city. Also from the mean streets of Cotswold, we've got David Walker. David, welcome in.
Hey, guys, if you're on Instagram, go check us out at Locked On Hornets. If you're not on Instagram, get a phone, get the internet, download this application. If you like pictures, if you like cool stuff, follow us on Instagram at Locked On Hornets. And good morning to everyone out there. Don't give up on social media, Doug. You just got to be social.
Oh, that's real nice.
Yeah. I'm not giving up on social media. I'm giving up on consuming, letting all of that invade my brain. I've spent 20 minutes on Twitter, and at the end of it, I'm like, okay, what did I take away from that? And I could not remember one single thing that I took away that meant something. So I said, I gotta quit. I gotta have my own thoughts. There were too many.
Maybe you're only talking to bots. Is it just bots or you?
It's just Russian bots about North Korea and Hornets basketball. Okay, so this is a great show. We're gonna preview tonight's game. Even though I wrote recap on my rundown, we're gonna preview tonight's game against the Toronto Raptors. Plus, we're gonna check in with a few of our friends, including Lance Stephenson. You remember that guy? We're going to check in and see how he's doing a little later on in the show. But first, the Hornets take on the Raptors for the first time this season tonight. Tip set for 7:30 p.m. Toronto is 12-7 on the year. This isn't a very different team in terms of roster construction than you're used to seeing there north of the border. The Hornets hope they can continue their success against the Raptors that they've had the last few seasons. It will be a little tougher than usual because they most likely will not have the services of Kemba Walker. Kemba is doubtful for this game. I think most likely will be declared out. The game notes say it's a left shoulder AC joint sprain. The Charlotte Hornets PR Twitter account says it's an AC joint contusion. I'm not a doctor. I don't know if those things are different, but I do know he's doubtful for this game. And I do know that every injury is different, but Frank Kaminsky had a AC joint sprain late last season and sat for 5 games. So I think all of this comes down to severity in terms of length of injury. Is he out 1 game? Is he out 5 games? Not really going to know. It's probably going to be a day-to-day kind of situation, getting updates as we get them. We do know that Michael Carter-Williams will start in his place if he does indeed miss this game. David, what are they going to be losing in Kemba Walker?
Their best player, their main guy, their leader, and the guy who really makes a difference on offense. You know, we've talked about nightmare scenario. You ever seen? You guys have seen like Armageddon when Owen Wilson asks about like what's the planet like, or what's the atmosphere like, and he's like worst possible situation imaginable, worst case scenario. That's what this is. I bobbled that a little bit. I hope you would have that drop, but I didn't give you a heads up.
Wow.
Yeah. So without Kemba, I mean, we can analyze this game, and I'm sure we want to, but anything can happen. But Kemba's their main guy. Kemba makes their offense go. He makes everything better. He's the best player on the team, so it's just going to be a tough go of it.
Yeah,
and Michael Carter-Williams has been playing well, but he's no Kemba Walker, and they don't have another one.
Yeah, Kemba leads the team in usage. He is second on the team to Marvin Williams in points per shot attempt, and he leads the team in assist percentage as well. And a lot of that having to do with the fact that Nicholas Batum has been on and off the court, so hasn't had time to really establish himself as the main guy there for the assist percentage. So it's been, so much of the offense has been run through Kemba Walker. Nick, we'll go to you. How does inserting Michael Carter-Williams into the starting lineup change things for the Hornets in this game against Toronto?
I think it might point to their just overall strategy. They're not going to be able to outscore Toronto, who's one of the best offensive teams in the league already. So the key, if they're going to have any chance tonight, is just to play good defense. And Carter-Williams that's kind of his thing. So, if they can hold Toronto under 100 points, they have a chance tonight. But that's assuming that they themselves can, make some points themselves. But no, this is, again, if this becomes a grind, I'm okay with that because that favors the Hornets. We'll see what they do with the second unit, but
could mean possibly more minutes for Malik Monk in that second unit, so you may want to watch for that.
He's going to have to.
And definitely you don't want to take Kemba Walker in your draft.com league. Fantasy sports fans, listen up. Did you know that your chances of winning on draft.com are 80% better than on some of these salary cap sites? That's right. That's why Draft is my favorite fantasy site. No more getting crushed by the pros. It's amateur hour, and that's a good thing at Draft.com. And it's not just me. More than 1 million people have already downloaded Draft as well. Play in a real live NBA draft right now. Be done in under 5 minutes and get paid out the next day. Drafts are filling every second, so you can join one whenever you want. All new players get a free entry into a real money draft when you make your first deposit, but you have to use our promo code LO Hornets. That's right. Play in a real money draft for free just by using our promo code LO Hornets. But it gets even better. Draft is so sure that you're going to love their app and the entire experience that they're even offering Locked On Hornets listeners a money-back guarantee up to $100. No risk. Go get some reward. Just search Draft in your app store or go to draft.com and play free right now with our promo code LO Hornets. So what I'm going to do for this show, I'm going to start a Locked On Hornets draft right now for 4 people. So if you're listening right now, if you are listening to us live, if you're watching along on youtube.com/Locked On Hornets, if you're following us on draft, LOH Doug, LOH Nick, LOH David, you're going to see our draft. It's called LOH Draft Wednesday. When that fills, if it fills during the show, we'll go ahead and draft it up. If not, we'll draft a little later, maybe around 4 o'clock p.m. before those 7 o'clock games start.
Hey, guys, yeah. Doug, Nick, you mentioned something, and if it's an ugly game, I mean, that does play into the hands of the Hornets a little bit. I mean, the Raptors can tend to get into a bit of a grinded-out game, and if there's a couple of areas – that you normally would like to see in an opponent for the Hornets. I mean, I think one is if they're not like a super, super great three-point shooting team, the Raptors are kind of middle of the road. They don't shoot a great percentage league-wide. And the other area that the Hornets should have an advantage in on a normal night would be rebounding. Some of the rebounding numbers for the Raptors are near the bottom of the league. So those are two areas that if it can get into a bit of a slog-it-out game, they could have a chance. It's just without Kemba, it's just such a different attack. I mean, you can't get around that.
What I'm going to be watching for is how Michael Carter-Williams, how aggressive is he in his first opportunity to start for the Charlotte Hornets. He's coming off that knee procedure that he had in the offseason. Certainly, I think he probably wants to reclaim some of the successes that he had in Philadelphia in his rookie year, but also in Milwaukee. He had some great play as well. So will he try to be on the attack, and will that be beneficial for the Hornets? I would say that probably not. I think they have a better shot at winning this game if MCW defers to guys like Nick Batum and Dwight Howard and even Marvin Williams, who we've seen Marvin's attempts drop because guys like Kemba, Dwight, and Jeremy Lamb / Nick Batum have been eating a lot of those possessions. I think Michael Carter-Williams would probably be better off giving up some more possessions to Dwight Howard early on, more possessions for Batum and Marvin late in this game. Luckily for the Hornets, they've had some time to rest, which was an issue going into that Spurs game. It's part of the reason they got blown out. They've had some time to prepare with Michael Carter-Williams at the helm, so it won't be such a shock to their system. Nick, David is watching rebounding. He's watching three-point shooting. What are you going to be watching for as a key to this game against Toronto?
You kind of mentioned it, but how they get Dwight Howard involved. I wrote about this recently, but one thing I've really liked about Dwight in the post is when he really gets deep and seals his man. It's a very effective place for him to be because he just kind of the defender has no shot at really defending them at all. I mean, he can foul him, but Dwight typically gets the shot off quick enough that nothing really can be done. And you've seen it throughout the season. And when he puts himself in these positions, it's, like I said, a very effective play. When he kind of steps a little bit further out and tries to break his defender down one-on-one, it's not so effective. So I would love if Carter-Williams could, obviously this is something they can talk about pregame with the coaching staff and whatnot, but really just have an emphasis of, okay, you dive deep, seal your man, and I'll get you early looks. And that's a way for Howard to get in their rhythm. That can give Carter-Williams some confidence because he's making plays, and hopefully can open things up elsewhere.
Hey, we haven't checked in on our buddy Lance Stephenson in a while. You guys want to check in on Lance, see what he's doing?
Looking for once, and now Victor's got it again.
Check this out. All right, Lance takes it at the top. Oh, beautiful, wraparound pass, almost fumbled away. Lance calling for it again, clapping as hard as he can. Oh, behind the back dribble. Oh, finds another little seam, and for the basket. Oh, Lance dancing. Lance getting funky.
He's at home in Indy, man. It works there. I don't know why, but it just works there. And that team's kind of fun to watch with him and all those young guys. I got to give it to him.
He's he gets his power from Indiana. I just love that after he almost turns it over, he's immediately just clapping. Just give it back. I got to do it again. I got to get too fancy.
Saw it happening. How about after he's almost out of the league, still making plays right now? I mean, you gotta take your hat off a little bit to him. Supreme confidence from our man Lance Stephenson. Love it. Love that seriously, I love that he's having success there in Indiana. Yeah.
Okay, here's what I'm watching for in this Toronto game. The Hornets are third in the league in giving up points off of turnovers. The Raptors are third in the league in getting points off of turnovers. They are top 10 in both steals and blocks. If the Hornets can protect the basketball, they're going to have a much better chance of winning this game. And let me ask this question. Is it impossible for them to win without Kemba? I know Toronto's they play well offensively. No. They don't play so great defensively, but this is not. I think we try to make this out of oh God, Kemba's injured, Kemba's out. If he's out extended time, yes, that's a nightmare. But for one game, I think they can win this thing.
It's not impossible. Nothing is impossible in today's NBA.
Lance Stephenson is a perfect example.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned the turnover numbers, and that's fantastic. Their point guard, starting point guard, is not playing. So, I mean, it's just we've seen this team without Kemba. It's just a very tough hill to climb. Nothing is impossible, though. And sometimes you're right, Doug. Sometimes you see a team go on the road, you lose a key guy, and it's a rallying cry for a team or something like that. We'll see how this current Hornets team reacts. They're just going to need a lot of things to go their way. They're going to need some guys to have big nights. If there's ever a time for Malik Monk to have another bust-out game, this would be it, to provide some points off the bench. And they need they normally need Frank and the rest of the bench to give them something. They'll absolutely have to have that tonight to do anything against Toronto. I mean, look, Toronto could come out and lay an egg at home. It happens. It's the NBA. But in general, it's going to be tough to win, certainly this game and any others without Kemba.
Shooting aside, does Carter-Williams have any Lin-esque qualities to you guys? Do you feel like he has that ability to just, control a game? Do you think just based on his play since he's, obviously looked healthy? I don't know. What do you think?
Well, I think he does most of that on the defensive end. He doesn't have anywhere near Lin's ability to control a game offensively, he has a great ability to attack the basket, and he uses those long arms to finish plays that others would not be able to finish. But at the same time, he's not been great around the rim either. It's been a problem for this entire Hornets team, and he's been a victim of that, not only in Charlotte but in other places as well. You know, his ability to get to the rim is great. It's finishing there that he's struggled with. But defensively, he leads the team in steal percentage right now, and he's a player that can turn defense into offense. And I think if the Hornets can protect the basketball while at the same time turning over Toronto, who's top 10 in both steals and blocks this year, then that could be a very positive thing for the Hornets in this very tough matchup. Hey, do you guys want to check in on our friend LeBron James? You guys are so excited on this show. You really want to check. Here, let's check in on LeBron. God, wake up!
You never have to check in on LeBron. He always lets us know what's going on.
All right, so LeBron gets a steal here. He's taking it all the way, and he's going to the hole. Oh, no foul call. Oh, he's very mad at the ref. Oh, and that ref's very mad as well. Well, that ref just threw him out. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. That's the first time in LeBron James's career. Yeah, you just heard it. How surprised are you guys that LeBron James picked up? First of all, how surprised are you that that's the first ejection of his career?
A little surprised.
Yeah, he's had a long career.
Yeah.
But he does demonstratively drop so many F-bombs these days that I think he must have just spit one right in that guy's ear, and he was like, absolutely not tonight. It is shocking at home, though. How surprised are you that the man that threw him out, the referee, was named Kane Fitzgerald? Kane. Surprised? I don't know.
Kane
Never heard of that guy.
Fitzgerald.
What a coincidence.
How surprised are you that he looks like the dad from 90210? Look at that guy.
I see it.
Kane Fitzgerald.
Did he also throw out Jason Kidd? I just because I saw the picture there when he
Probably at some point, I imagine.
I wish we had thrown out numbers for refs, like how many people they tossed out. I'm sure they're foul. They do have foul.
Did you hear what the
stats,
ref
right?
said after the game? They asked the ref, did you why did you assess 2 technicals on LeBron James? And he said,
Because I can.
I only assessed 1 technical and then threw him out. Bold. He's not afraid of the king. Enos Kanter tweeting out that circling the ref and saying that's the new king of Cleveland now. Enos, calm down.
Don't tell me you didn't learn anything on Twitter, Doug. You are dropping some gems today.
It's the only one then I quit. After that, I quit. That was the peak Twitter for me. Double M15 saying, when are we eating these chips? Yeah, the Pocky chip. That's Fun Friday. So
Double M15. We aren't eating. We are never eating these chips. Doug is eating these on Fridays.
Yeah, I'm sure. Well, I'm going to eat half, and I'm going to give the other half to David. So Double M15 also saying if the Kings can beat the Warriors, then we have a chance. Absolutely. And the Wizards beat Minnesota last night without. Finish my sentence. Without
John Wall.
That's right.
Yeah,
it ain't over.
Hashtag anything can happen.
Hashtag Kevin Garnett, anything is possible.
You know what's concerning though, guys?
Please tell me.
Outside of Kemba being out, I mean, Michael Carter-Williams, you have to imagine his minutes are going to double, right? He's playing about 15 minutes a game. He's going to have to play Kemba-like numbers, which is going to put him up around, Kemba's playing 35 minutes a game. I mean, he's going to have to play 30 minutes a game, you think, and that just pushes everybody else down. I mean, you see the drop-off when Kemba goes out to MCW, whenever they try to do anything else with a backup point guard situation, that's where it's going to be. That's where it could be disastrous. I mean, that's where it could be really ugly because we'll go back to seeing probably Monk. Who else would they try out there? They don't have anyone else.
Well, Julian Stone is listed as probable for this game. He was upgraded. David, that's a good point. But you seemed kind of cool on the LeBron James getting thrown out thing, and there's gonna There's going to be a lot of people talking about this today.
They won by like 30.
Okay, give me a cool take on LeBron James being thrown out of this game.
You know, LeBron overstepped his bounds a little bit and probably said something he shouldn't have, so he deserved to get seated for the rest of the game.
Coach, this is sports. Got a problem. You got to help,
LeBron James is the leader of his team. A team that, in stretches, has not played great. And they need their leader on the floor late in games. What will this mean in the playoffs if he cannot control his temper?
That's a good one. Yeah, he'll definitely get
Doug, you sound like Charlie from It's Always Sunny.
Oh.
Hey,
Can we talk about the mail? Can we talk about the mail?
Real quick, though, how ironic was it to see Dwayne Wade throw his cane aside, take off all his warm-ups, and go in there and almost torch the Heat, if you will, as the game wound down. I mean, that must have been so weird for all the diehard Heat fans out there.
Hey, by the way, you mentioned Dwayne Wade. Let's check in on our buddy Dwayne Wade. We haven't checked in on D Wade in a while. This was him against the Sixers. Oh, sniper in the building.
Here comes Simmons ahead of the pack.
Flop. Major flop here as he comes across the pick and roll. Oh, it was like a pirouette, like a ballet move. Like, what in the world? It's not. It happened several seconds after no one made contact with him. Here's the thing. I guess that not only the athleticism slows, not only does the speed slow down, but the reaction time apparently slows down.
Everything slows down, Doug. Everything slows down.
It's affecting the flopping now.
He would have flopped so much quicker 5 years ago. I don't think there's any doubt about that.
Hey, Toronto's offense tonight is going to be, you can guarantee one thing, it's going to be very good. 6 games of shooting over 50% this season. They are moving the ball a lot better. The Raptors have tallied 8 games of 25 or more assists. That's very un-Raptorsian. Is that okay? Raptorsian.
Mm-hmm.
They had 9 games like that all of last year. They ran a lot of isolation for guys like DeMar DeRozan. Toronto joins Minnesota as the only teams to not be held under 40% for a game this season, but they have also not held an opponent to under 40%. Everything runs through that man, Double D, DeMar DeRozan still, but he's a slightly different offensive player than he's been in years past. He's buying into ball movement and man movement. His assist rate is much higher year over year, and his catch and shoot numbers have gone from below average to over 1.2 points per possession, which ranks him in the 71st percentile. This might actually, I don't know what your take on this is, DeMar DeRozan moving around a little bit and how that will affect things for the Charlotte Hornets, but I think that this might actually benefit the guy who's going to be guarding him tonight, which is Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, most likely, whose pick-and-roll ball handler, off-screen, and spot-up defense numbers have been far and away better this season than they were last season, and Michael Kidd-Gilchrist has not seen a ton of ISO plays come his way. It's been a few LeBron here, and that's really it. I think this could be actually be a favorable matchup for Michael Kidd-Gilchrist, and that sounds funny to say because it's DeMar DeRozan. He's scoring over 20 points a game. It's always going to be a tough cover. Did only have 2 points in his last game. They got a win because it was Atlanta, but he only had 2 points.
Yeah. I don't know.
Great. This is fantastic.
Just, I keep coming back to the Kemba thing for me, Nick. I don't know. It's hard to analyze.
Yeah, I mean, I think but that's true though. I mean, like Gilchrist can. I mean, and it's not just Gilchrist. It's pretty much anyone in the league can get destroyed off ISO play because these guys are just so good at breaking down guys, in ISO situations. But no, I mean, if MKG is another fact in this, and MKG limits DeRozan, that takes another element out of the game. And if other guys aren't hitting their shots either, this is, like once again we have a shot here. One thing I'll say though is that they have a lot of size down low. Ibaka and Valanciunas are incredibly big guys. Do you guys worry about the matchup of Marvin Williams on Ibaka?
Possibly. I mean, I think, having Dwight Howard underneath is going to allow Marvin to be a little bit more aggressive with Serge Ibaka. Doesn't have to sink down quite as far. So defensively, I think that's okay. Now, Marvin has been more effective in the corner this season, has not been going to the rim as much, so that would favor him offensively. But when he has gone to the rim, he has not been effective. So I expect that to continue against Serge Ibaka, who is still out there blocking a lot of shots and playing great defense around the rim, but could challenge Serge by pulling him out or into the corner and open up maybe driving lanes for a guy like Michael Carter-Williams. So I think that could be an interesting matchup for them as well. Hey, my mission in this show now is to get David fired up, and I feel like this is going to do it.
I'm fired up.
All right.
Okay.
Well, I think this is going to do it, David. Are you ready? Let's check in on our friend Greg Popovich. See how he's doing right now. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, dog.
He's getting tossed. He said, "Kiss my ass," and I love that he follows up that with "Open your eyes."
Well, the coach was right.
Oh, and then he goes over to the other ref. He's giving the other ref the business after already being thrown out.
Pop is such a pro. He knows exactly what it takes to get the night off, to get bounced out of a game. Like, he knew that was going to happen. He was going.
He doesn't even have to do the post game.
Exactly.
It's a great bailout when you get thrown out. You don't even have to do the post game. You're just gone. I love that he just follows it. He's like, he tells the ref to kiss his ass and then follows it up with "Open your eyes." That's quite a combo. He wants him to really enjoy that.
I wonder how often coaches intentionally get, kicked out so they can do something else. Like, did y'all hear the Pop story where he wanted to watch, God, I can't remember. He wanted to watch a sporting event in another sport.
I think that was Doc, wasn't it? Didn't Doc want to watch the Masters?
Yeah. It was the Masters, right? Yeah. And he tried to get thrown out and the ref was like, "Hey, I want to watch a two-man sorry." So they know, these refs kind of know what these coaches are trying to do, I think, sometimes.
Well, and Pop's I feel like Pop's one of the only guys that will get thrown out of a game. He does the sort of the baseball thing where he'll run out onto the field and throw a base to get his team fired up. He's playing the psychological game and doing a great job at that. So that's Pop getting fired up. Double M15 saying, "David, are you willing to eat a chip if we win?" Eat that.
No, there's 82 games in a season. Get out of here with that.
Okay. Toronto's bench is very good. Also, watch out for that.
These chips sound horrible.
What, David?
These chips sound so bad. These chips sound horrible, Doug. Oh, God.
The back of the box says, "Do you dare to go to hell and back?"
No.
You not only have to go to hell, you have to go there and then back. Ugh. This is going to be tough. You know what? I opened it. I haven't opened it yet. I opened it for the first time yesterday, and it's the chip is actually in a package. The chip's not just rolling around in there. It is.
No wonder it costs $60, dude. That package, and you get a cardboard box. Then you have a vacuum sealed plastic bag?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to wear goggles to make sure I don't get this stuff in my eyes. I don't. Should we do it at the end of the show? Or try to power through at the beginning of the show.
You need to find a high school classroom with one of those eye washers, in the corner.
Oh, I've got the.
You got an eye washer?
What?
You have an eye washer in there?
This is an advanced studio. I'm gonna be like
science class after this.
Oh man.
No, make sure you have milk. Seriously, don't
bread.
Yeah, milk and bread.
Well, it's butter. It's buttermilk. It's not just regular milk. Kind of helps.
Oh, really?
But it's buttermilk that you want.
What about eggnog? Would that help? Would eggnog help?
Spiced eggnog, maybe a little, if you know what I mean. That would take away the pain. Lots and lots of.
I find it entertaining. Find it inspiring.
Authentic bourbon. Authentic. Wish I had that drop. I don't have that one available. Okay, what do you, David? I think I know the answer to this question from you. Yes, Lamont, thank you. That's what I was trying to think of just a second ago. Yes, the Andy Bernard eye wash demonstration from The Office. Yeah. I'll just be screaming as I wash my eyes out.
The Nard dog.
What do you have the Hornets' chances in this one, assuming that Kemba is not in the lineup?
I mean, 25%. I don't know. Like I said, anything can happen. Anything can happen tonight. The Raptors could have an off night. Everyone else besides DeMar DeRozan could go cold, or he could go cold. The Hornets have got to have somebody pop for them, though. So, it could happen. And historically, I mean, the Hornets have played the Raptors pretty tough. And I think it's a matchup that they would do fine in, all things being equal. They're just going to have to rally around that fact that Kemba's out, and everyone is going to have to up their game.
Double M15, basically summing up this show. Kemba is out. LeBron got kicked out. Wade is old. Pop is a genius. That was a good summation of what's going on in this show. Nick, give me your coolest take on what's going to happen tonight between the Hornets and the Raptors, and I'll send it through the machine.
I think Dwight Howard he's gonna get probably a double-double. Like 17 points, 12 rebounds. He'll probably turn it over a few times, but it's going to be I think he'll have a good night. I think it'll be solid and yeah.
Look at something. Who we talking about?
The Hornets have zero chance against the Toronto Raptors without their leader, one Kemba Mathias Jamison Walker. They've got zero chance. Dwight Howard not going to get a double-double. He's going to get a single because he doesn't have his leader on the court helping him out. The Hornets lose to the Raptors by 60.
Oof.
It's the hot take.
That would be.
It's the hot. I'm just reading. These are not endorsements. I'm reading what's on the paper. It spits out a sheet of paper, and I read it. All right. Thanks so much for joining us here on Locked On Hornets. I think the Hornets have a chance, by the way. I really do. I think that Toronto, coming off a weird game against Atlanta, the Hornets are rested. They had a chance to work in Michael Carter-Williams. I think if Michael Carter will defer to Batum and get our man Dwight Howard involved early, I think they have a good shot at least being close in the fourth quarter, and then it's going to come down to their offensive execution. How well is that? And we didn't even mention Jeremy Lamb off the bench. I think that's going to be key as well.
You mentioned Batum, Doug. We didn't talk about him at all. I mean, he'll be the guy that probably takes some of that responsibility with Kemba out as well. So Michael Carter-Williams and Batum may split some of that, and he'll have to have a big offensive night as well. And that's the way it's going to happen, though. Michael Carter-Williams has got to play a very good game and just pick his spots and get everyone else involved.
Thanks for listening to Locked On Hornets here on the Locked On Podcast Network. Follow us on Twitter at Locked On Hornets. Subscribe to us on iTunes, and while you're there, give us a 5-star review. Help hardcore Hornets fans like yourself find this podcast. And shoot us your Hornets questions and thoughts to buzzbuzz@lockedonhornets.com. Thanks to our sponsor for this episode, draft.com. Use our promo code LOHornets to get a free game. All right, until next time, for David, I'm Doug, saying go Hornets, go America, beat the Raptors, let's swarm Charlotte.
This one's for all the Dougaholics, the Locked On Hornets podcast. What up next? And please subscribe, rate, and review, or join our Patreon page. But I don't know what to do with those tossed LaCroix and scrambled LaCroix. Let's drink a LaCroix. Good night, Buzz City. We love you.